Hello and welcome to Sullivan's Farm. A couple of quick updates in this video. The weanlings out on the fodder rape are quickly running out of bales, so we need to see what kind of grass we have around there and come up with a plan to try and get them out as early as possible. I want to explain why I did a full U-turn on what I said in the last video about buying a meal bin. What's the third thing then? The third thing we need to do... Oh, yes. I have a plan for making a bucket for the front loader on the tractor. I'm not going to buy one. I'm going to get one made instead. The grass walk's kind of done now, which is a fancy way of saying I've had a walk around, and I think whatever date it is, the weanlings, the ones that are being outwintered, they're probably going to come out here first. I'm calling that a cover of about 1,500. The other options, the other side of the roadway here, probably something similar, but down in the far off corner there, it might be a little bit wet. Not very wet, but a little bit wetter than it is on this side. And I suppose that's no surprise. It's lower ground. That's some of the alder we planted in 2008, and we wouldn't have planted that if it was nice ground like that. So something of a plan. We just need to figure out the dates now. But it goes without saying that everything is weather dependent. The weather might play ball, or the weather might be someplace in the middle, or the weather might be absolutely brutal. We'll just have to play it by ear that way. But I think what we'll end up doing is bringing out a few bales of silage to the cattle. Buy a few days, buy a week, buy 10 days with that. Guess what I've done today is just get some idea of where we are grass-wise, which paddocks they might go out to, and it just kind of helps me sleep a bit easier knowing that there is something of a plan. There's a plan A in place. We'll have to come up with plan B closer to the time maybe, but I've some idea what to do now anyway. The next job today then is it's either, I suppose it depends on how you view the world, it's either the start of a marvellous engineering plan and reducing, reusing, recycling, all that kind of stuff, or it is wicked messing altogether. But sure, look, I guess by way of background, this is kind of how it came about. I was on the phone to the man who did the feed barriers and the gates inside the shed, and I was paying him, say the second, I paid him in 2 installments, giving him the card number, and we were shooting the breeze, having a chat over the phone. And it was in the back of my head that I needed a loader for the tractor to help clear out the shed and clear out the straw rather than using the grab, as you would have seen in a previous video. And I was kind of walking and talking as I was on the phone to him, and then I saw this. So we were talking away anyway, and I said, sure, look, I'll chance saying it to him. And I said, look, would it be possible maybe to put brackets on a transport box I don't use? Would it be a wicked stupid idea? Is the worst thing you ever heard? Will I hang up altogether? And he said, no, not at all. Very simple job. So sure, look, that was all the encouragement I needed. So we kind of went through a few details then of what he needed to be able to do that. That man's yard isn't too far from us here, so I'll put the transport box into the car trailer and just drop it over to him. What I'm going to do as well is take the grab off the loader, take a few pictures, take a few measurements. They're Euro brackets that are on it, and hopefully if he has those, that'll help as well. Right, that's the transport box loaded, measurements taken and pictures taken, and we will head for that man's yard now. I'm happy to show you the indicators now that they're working. Not always a given. You wouldn't know what would be happening with wiring and things at times. I read someplace you're under no obligation to be the same person you are 5 minutes ago, and you don't have to think the same things or say the same things now that you were saying 5 minutes ago. In a previous video I was saying I wasn't going to waste my money buying one of those small plastic meal bins, and I was going to save up, and I was going to get a proper vertical silo type one out in the shed. And then in the meantime, I bought that. I had 3 reasons to justify buying the little bin, or I had in my head anyway. First is to save a bit of time. Time is always the most scarce commodity around here. It is even more scarce than money, and that's saying something. When I was getting the small bags, I'd have to jump into the car, over to the merchant, load up maybe a half dozen bags in the boot or in the back seat, come back, unload them, throw them into the little cubby hole, or into the little pallet thing to keep the badgers and the crows and all that out, and then start working from there. Whereas now I can just make a phone call, order the big white bags, get them delivered, and then just tip them in with the tractor, as you'd seen me doing in the last video. So that's the first thing. It's to save a bit of time and a bit of hassle. The second reason is to save a few quid. I'm getting the price of the meal now at a ton price rather than the 25 kg bag price. So that's saving a few quid. Not a huge amount, because I'm not using a huge amount of it. But equally, every 10 or 15 or 20 euro counts when it's scarce enough at the best of times. The third reason I justified the meal bin was the small bags were getting small holes in them like this. It was either mice or rats. I was putting down poison, which I wasn't very comfortable about. Now with the new meal bin, it doesn't matter how big the rat's teeth are or the mouse's teeth are, they're not going to be able to chew through that anyway. That's all the good news then. That's all the upside to the meal bin. The downside was the 380 euro I had to pay for it. Now I priced around, and that was the lowest price I could get any place. I bought the equivalent, I think it's probably less than 2 years ago, and it was just, I think, 305 euro. So there's a fair jump in the old inflation percentages there. But look, it's here now, and it's already paying for itself, so we'll drive on. So if you have any ideas as to the economics of the meal bin or otherwise, throw it into the comment section below. Same with getting the weanlings out that little bit earlier. Any tips or tricks, throw it into the comment section again. And lastly then, mind yourselves. Nobody else is going to mind you, so look, mind yourselves, and we'll talk to you soon. Good luck.